time the default in divorce, first U.S. state to 50 custody. So it says, back in 2018, Kentucky became the first U.S. state to pass a law making joint custody and equal parenting time the default in divorce cases as long as both parents are fit and there's no history of abuse. Since then, the divorce rate in Kentucky has dropped by over 25%, according to statewide data. Supporters say the law gives both parents equal responsibility and reduces the need for court battles and child support disputes. Critics argue it doesn't fit every family, but overall, the law is credited with creating more balance and stability for children. Other states have since passed similar laws, but Kentucky was the first to make it official. Now, I did a real quick little research about other states that try to have like joint custody as the default, barring any different kind of circumstances or extenuating circumstances that might make that not feasible. For the other states that actually have it, those would be that instated those things between like that afterwards were like Missouri, New York, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Iowa, and Virginia.
You can stop there. You can pick it up from here.
All right.
Shout out to the Crimson Cure, though. We love Crimson Cure.
So there are.
Oops, there you go. Yeah. Great content creator.
You said that's a bad thing. Where are you coming from with that one?
So shout out to Kentucky for like taking action, because we really don't see a lot of states, and maybe she was going to go into that about what states try to do. And truthfully, we see a lot of states attempting to do stuff like this, and it just fails. And you would think with all the men out here, all the men crying about how women have left their marriages, women are doing they can leave a marriage just because for whatever dumbass reason, whatever the case is, you see a lot of men that they should be on board with this, and most lawmakers are men. I just don't understand why men have not been involved with this as much as they should have been, because when it comes to like making these cases, I don't understand why the laws are the laws that they are, though. We've had enough time and enough men in this country to and men that have been through stuff like this, or men that were raised in these split households, they've had plenty of chances to change stuff like this. So on one hand, yeah, the states are changing and moving forward, but here's my real problem with this, though, okay, MC? So I'm okay with the states making the law changes. Plus, I mean, states, you can do whatever you want. My real issue is we got to change state law to keep these women in their marriages. Do you know how insane this shit is? This is crazy. Why do we have to why do we have to change these laws? Like, that's MC, and you're the marriage guy, you're the marriage bro. You're telling me, like, for wanting to get married, I still think I could get married. For me wanting to get married, 1 in 4 women are not going to want to be in that marriage. Or 1 in 4 men will want to be in that marriage. But the rest of them, nope, they don't want to get in there. And part of the reason they're only there is because they don't get the 50-50 custody. Like, isn't that terrible? Isn't that, like, how do you speak to people? Like, this is Kentucky. They instituted the rule. But all these other states, y'all got problems. Y'all got dead bedrooms. You got issues with, your wife and her work husband and all that shit. Like, this is really troubling that we see that women are only in the marriage because they can't get an advantage over you. Like, that's a shitty proposition and a bad deal at that.
See, I look at it differently, TR. I look at it as chickens coming home to roost for women. For years, we know that child support was designed for trash dads who are not there and didn't want to live up to their responsibilities. But what it evolved into was a torture tool that a lot of women used against good men trying to do the right thing by their kids.
Hey, real quick, MC. Part of the child support, with the way child support is designed today, I mean, before, you're right, the men yesteryear, the boomers, they fucked up for all of us. It really didn't get its teeth until in the 90s. And we're talking about Clinton, who, allowed the child support become what it is today. So, FYI.
Yeah, that all true. I don't deny any of that. But this makes women, I've said this.
Hey, MC, you still there?
Yeah,
I can't hear you.
I'm still here. Are we doing this again?
Sorry, can't hear you. Yeah, MC's having some microphone issues, but yeah, for a lot of folks out there, when it comes to the child support law, and there's a creator that I'm blanking on his name though, but when it came to the child support law, the way that they designed it, they put the teeth in there to go after men with their passports, with their credit reporting, jail time. Like before you, I mean, the jail time is probably like a 4 or 5 step process. It's the passport and the credit reporting is where they get you at. So when it comes to the whole thing, when it comes to like talking about child support, started in the 90s and it just went to shit after that though. So and it's one of the only systems out there like you never have to worry about them forgetting something, having a mistake, because I have yet to hear any child support agency getting hacked. I have yet to hear any type of on-site issues that may have occurred at child support agency. So yeah, those. I mean, if you want to hide something, put it in child support because no one is dying to get in those places though. Damn, MC's still down.
No,
Well,
I'm here right now.
come on, MC. Hold on. Let's see if I can fix his mic here.
I'm testing my mic.
Yeah,
right
sorry
now.
guys.
My
I cannot hear him. You might be able to hear him, but I cannot hear him. I'm just gonna remove him stage. Hopefully he logs back out and logs back in. So, but anyway, so part of my issue with when it comes to like the 25% and what I was kind of discussing earlier, is that nowadays you have to create laws to keep women in their relationships. And I know some people may be like the whole at fault, or I mean no fault divorce. And at one point I used to think that that was probably the better issue. Hold on. Okay, MC's trying to. You there? MC.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They say they could hear you. I couldn't hear you, so crazy.
Hold on, I'm gonna try one more thing. I think
No,
I
I
might
can hear
be
you.
able to fix it on your side. Hold
No,
on,
I can hear you. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
I'm not good. Just trust me. I'll be right back.
Fuck. All right. Anyways, guys. So when it comes to like the whole the 25%, my issue is that nowadays you're going to have to like hope that either you get married and you hope that the person that you're with wants to be there, wants to be there for the kids, wants to be a wife. And then you got to hope in the next, if you get to the 7-year mark, get to the 10-year mark, that she doesn't check out. And so this isn't one of those, Marriage Bros podcast type of conversations, though. This is one of those things where men need to be aware of what's coming down the pipeline for them, what some of these state laws are, because I didn't even know about this in Kentucky. So I'm surprised they even passed a law like that. I know there's another state that passed automatic paternity tests, as well as Florida got rid of the what's that? They got rid of lifetime alimony. What, you there, MC?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had to clear something up.
Jeez, man.
So real quick, I wanted to counter your point. Forced accountability on women had to happen, right? So now there's equal risk if the marriage falls apart.
Yeah.
If the marriage falls apart, traditionally the man takes on all the risk. This goes a long way in terms of curbing some of that. Now you gotta prove that he was a terrible husband and a father before you can take away that joint 50-50 custody. So to that I say it ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun. I done seen a lot of terrible mothers get over on fathers and kind of lean into these child support courts and these family court laws to kind of like make the man's life miserable. I've seen men literally go bankrupt trying to fight for their kids, and I've seen the mental anguish and things like that. The court automatically sides with the woman, and now this is going to require everybody to be a little bit more logical and plan on if they want to make this transition to marriage. So I think I heard you talking about the alimony thing that they're doing in Florida. They're like, it's making it so it's not lifetime anymore. They're talking about doing mandatory DNA testing at birth because they're anticipating that up to 1 in 3 children have the wrong father on the birth certificate. So these are things that are going to make accountability more equal in marriage. And frankly, it's long overdue. And you know who was talking about all this stuff? There was only one presidential candidate, TR, who was talking about all this stuff. And obviously he jumped back out, and that was RFK. He was the only person talking about creating balance with family court laws. I never heard any other presidential candidate talk about it.
Yeah, the family course laws definitely do need a reset, though. I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll happen in the next 50 years, but you're still, I mean, MC, that's still, I mean, for a lot of men out there, you're going to have to decide. And I said this earlier, you're going to have to decide, is marriage really worth it? You know, what you know now, what you've seen other people go through, what you know, these states don't give a shit about the whole family. They do what's in the, they fuck over whoever makes the most money, and then they set everything up to against that person. Generally, it's men. The only woman that I know that pays child support, that's ever had to pay child support, is Holly Berry. That's the only woman. I'm sure there's some out there, but the majority of the time, Holly Berry, when it comes to a woman, Holly Berry's been the only one that's ever had to pay child support to both her white zaddies.
It's certainly not happening to the average everyday woman. That much we know. And
Yep.
another thing we didn't talk about, Texas puts caps on child support.
Oh yeah, who is it? What's her face? Brittany Renner and PJ Washington. Yes.
Yeah.
So, which
Yeah.
is why PJ or Brittany Renner crashed out on PJ Washington a few months ago, which we discussed, because she cannot get the money that she feel like she's entitled to. So I'm all on board with a lot of these states taking action, but this is more writing on the wall that marriage is probably not going to be a good deal for most men. And they need to consider these things because, yeah, you might be saved a little bit. Like, she probably won't exit the relationship, but then she wants to exit the relationship. So now you got another problem. You said in that, I think in that Kentucky case, they have to prove that the person was abusive. Well, unfortunately, it's pretty easy to prove that a man is abusive. Like, you calling your girl's phone multiple times or yelling at her, that's considered abusive. Like, that's a crazy thing. So yeah, there's some loopholes in there, but I don't know, man. MC, again, you're the marriage bro. You got to give us some sage advice on how to navigate these waters.
I don't know if you can, TR. My position remains the same. I'm happily married, but I realize that for most men, marriage is not a good deal. And
Yep.
let's add some more evidence to that. I just dropped a poll right here from CBS News. 50% of all married women have a backup plan B guy who's
Oh yeah, yeah.
just waiting in the wings for the husband to mess up so he can slide on in there and get
Yep.
50% of women have a
husband.
backup guy.
Yep. And
Here's what I tell men. Marriage can be a great thing if you execute it properly, but you gotta make sure you're doing it with the right person.
yeah, see, and MC just says right person, so he's not really
Go ahead,
giving any
TR.
advice.
Did I lose you?
No, I hear you. I hear you just fine.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, he said, hey, just find the right person, find someone that rocks with you, and you're good.
So yeah.
This is not helpful advice, MC.
Well,
but
I'll tell you. Here's what I will say, TR. No. So, all right, let's deep dive it there. First of all, don't date anybody that has political ideologies that differ from you.
That is true.
Because off the rip, that means you got a messed up family structure. If you have a son and he comes home one day and he says, "I think I might be a girl," you better for sure make sure that your wife has the same mentality as you do when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Political ideologies, number one. Number two, it sucks that you have to say this, but you need to have a conversation about physical attraction and how to maintain it. The laziest people in the world are married people. This has been proven statistically. They're the ones that tend to let themselves go and not do the things they used to do to lock in and secure the marriage in the first place. That's number two. Number three, look, the more tattoos she has, fellas, the more trauma that's attached to her. I think that's a fair statement to make. I've never seen a woman covered in tattoos that didn't have some type of mental things that she's working on or some type of self-harm and things that you gotta call out as red flags. The best way for you to tell a woman's accountability, because this is the big issue right here. A lot of women don't want to face accountability, right? Ask them this question. Without mentioning your ex, tell me why your last relationship ended and watch how she answers that question.
Yeah.
It's going to tell you everything you need to know about what accountability looks like. If she can answer that question without mentioning her ex, that tells me that she has a true sense of self and what her strengths and weaknesses are. But if she brings them up anyway, or she can't answer the question, that means she's blaming everybody else for her problems. Ain't nobody perfect out here, but a lot of times these women like to portray that they are. I would start off with those 4 basic tenets. At the political ideology is important because we tend not to talk about this, and you also need to make sure that you get some guarantees in terms of the happenings in the bedroom. Because if she wants a monopoly on your sexual gratification, you better damn sure make sure she's willing to keep that same energy every time you want to get your rocks off and not let up on the gas. We know what we like. We men at the end of the day. There's some basic tenets to get you started.
Guys, I'm just gonna check out CGA, the free agent lifestyle. He'll he'll set you right. If he's giving some good
There's
advice, I
always
hope
the
you
free
guys
agent lifestyle.
check out
Look,
CGA. Free agent
CGA
lifestyle.
is the opposite of me. But married people can learn from CGA too, though, TR. That's the thing.
That's
I
true.
can learn from CGA. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. We
Stay
are
away from
going.
feminists too. Never marry a feminist. She gonna break your heart.
That's a fact too. They are good in the bedroom, but that's a side note. Sorry, family show. All right. We are getting to the main